my name's Al, and today I want to talk about a potential deck. Not this is not literally a deck, but just the cards I want to talk about. But the deck is gonna be from Paradox Rift, our latest set, and it's gonna be about a card I don't actually have yet, so I've got a silly drawing proxy. It's Tsareena EX. We're gonna take a look at that. Look, I did make the proxies. I do like to play with them physically, and so sometimes if I don't have it, I'll like just make my own little thing. And it's fun, it's fine. We're good. But yeah, this deck is really cool because it can be a cool control type deck, or it can be other like let's just go into the actual card. Let's take a look, shall we? So we've got Icicle Soul, which is really cool. It puts damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon until its remaining HP is 30. That's kind of cool, you know, once you think about it. This is a water type Pokemon, and it's gonna take some grass energy for it to work. It's one of those really cool terrestrial Pokemon. But yeah, we've got that move. Icicle Soar is interesting, super cool. And then Chop Kick, hits for 180, and then it heals 30 damage from this Pokemon, and it recovers from special conditions. So this Pokemon is gonna be hitting for a good amount. It's gonna leave your opponent like with very little HP in there. And what makes it a control deck that some people have already obviously talked about, and you should go check out their explanations and videos too, is that another Pokemon from the set is making it an interesting control type deck. So, you know, we have Vanillite from the set. Not very meaningful. It's got Chili for 2 energy, and then it evolves into Vanilluxe, and I don't think anybody will really use it, even in this, because we just need to use Rare Candy. We're gonna use Rare Candy here too. Stage 2. But no, Vanilluxe is the main guy here. So the ability Frigid Room says your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining, they can't attack. And so if you're able to do that, enter into Tsareena, just attack, they're down to 30, and then they can't attack, it kind of turns into this game of decking out your opponent, and it's a control type thing. I haven't really played a control type deck, but I definitely like the ideas that are happening in here, and I thought it'd be fun to look at. So as I explained that mechanic, that could be one possibility. And if you're doing that, you might also slot in the Braviary? Yeah, Hisuian Braviary into the deck, a certain one that I don't have physically, but one that allows to take some damage as well, and then just kind of leave your opponent dry. I don't know, it's really good. But over on, for Japanese players, I've seen other strategies implemented, including one with Clodsire, with Radiant Sneasler, and I've been intrigued about that. So let's also discuss that. So Clodsire EX exists. I remember getting, well, the full art, I should say. This is Clodsire EX. It came around a little bit ago, and then same with its full art that, like, I saw this in a shop, and it's so funny. It's so funny to look at. I love Clodsire. But no, his ability Toxic Wetland says once during your turn, if a stadium's in play, you may make your opponent's active poisoned. Pretty good, I would say. And then when you're pairing it in here, you can also pair it with Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, and this Radiant Pokemon has Poison Peak. During Pokemon Checkup, put 2 more damage counters on your opponent's poison Pokemon. So we're getting some damage down with the poison. If you're doing it, you might want to run more or less, but you know, I've got 2. Here's some Whoopers. Nothing super special. I love these guys. They're very funny. This is wonderful artwork. I love this Whooper just as much as I love this full art. But yeah, that's a possibility to do with this as well. So the Tsareena might have some fun potential as different mechanisms to use. I think the Vanilluxe control is probably a little more popular so far, or I've seen it played a little bit more maybe. But yeah, let's talk about other things for that deck. One thing would be Skwovet here. Skwovet's ability, Nest Stash, says once during your turn you may shuffle your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck, and you can put any cards. If you put any cards on the bottom of your deck this way, you draw a card. So that's kind of to make sure you also have, I guess, something to do, and you don't deck out and, you know, it's just your opponent who is stuck. and that's not a great place to be in. We're also going to be utilizing de-evolution, one of the new TM's wonderful thing with this, because you're able to de-evolve your opponent's Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it and into your opponent's hand. So de-evolving Pokemon with lots of like damage already done, you know, you're knocking them out real fast. If you're able to bring them down to 30 HP, there's not really, aside from baby Pokemon, even with baby Pokemon, like they're gone. But you know what I mean? It's good prime stuff to abuse and do. Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting deck. You would also probably want to run some Professor's Research in there as well, just to keep things going for you. You might consider Gardenia's Vigor, which says you draw 2 cards. If you drew cards in this way, attach up to 2 grass energy cards from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. That's super awesome. You're gonna want to probably try that out. You are also going to be working with Rare Candy because it is a Stage 2 Pokemon. Vanilluxe is also a Stage 2 Pokemon. So we've got 2 Stage 2s to work with. You might want to add in one more little Rare Candy or not, but just keep that in mind, is it might not be the fastest setup, especially if you can't quite find those, but there's different ways to do it. You're obviously going to need to use Bound Sweet if you're using Tsareena, and then you probably won't be using Steenie because you've got the Rare Candy going, but I just want to show you the amazing artwork. Look at that. It's wonderful artwork, and so maybe you could slot one in if you really want to see it, but if not, you'll have to use those Rare Candies to get to Tsareena EX, and that is the goal. And then once you get there, you can also further disrupt things and control things by preventing all damage done to the Pokemon this card's attached to by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining. Wonderful. That's the other, you know, cinch way to just shut everything down, pretty much, for this deck, you know? I mean, you're not shut down, your opponent will be, and it's just kind of hope it stays that way. But yeah, I think that's definitely gonna be the sole purpose of the deck, kind of. You'll also likely be wanting to run the supporter Irida, since this is water time. It is a water Tsareena now. Irida is gonna be able to find that Pokemon really quickly, since it's the only water Pokemon, but that is a consideration, because not only do you get to grab that water Pokemon Tsareena, you also get to grab, well, you could also grab, of course, Manaphy and stuff, or Radiant Greninja, which is important. You can also just get an item with Irida, or, you know, not just, but yeah, Irida lets you grab a water Pokemon and an item card, which is super useful, super great. And then as for stadiums in play, if you want to go the Clodsire route, I'm sure I would recommend, you know, maybe doing 4 Artisan or something, so that you're able to grab the basic Pokemon rather quickly and stuff, and get them going. And as I said, you're wanting to go ahead and try using, here's Artisan. You'll probably want to do that to get basic Pokemon onto your bench, onto your bench, and that's an easy way to do it. And like I said, if you have a stadium in play, that toxic wetland can activate and stuff, and that's pretty awesome to have if you want to do it. So obviously, if you're doing that route, you would probably want to run 4 stadiums, whether it's all Artisan or other ones, maybe like Tempo Asino or something, or not so much, but that could be an important card to consider, as well as Ino, of course. Ino is definitely a good one to have, maybe like 2 to 4 of those, but maybe like 2, as well as Hisuian Heavy Ball. You might also consider Capturing Aroma. Capturing Aroma could be good if you want to search for certain things, potentially. Let me try and find, I'm trying to look. We got some leftovers from Mousehold we were talking about. But let's see, XP share, here we go, Capturing Aroma. So with Capturing Aroma, it says you can flip a coin, and if heads, you search for an evolution Pokemon, or reveal it, and then put it into your hand, and if tails, you search out a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. This will probably be very helpful since Tsareena is a stage 2 Pokemon, or an evolution, you know? So you would either be finding the evolution Pokemon, or you'd be looking for a basic, depending on which way the coin lands, or, you know, the dice, since most people are playing with dice. That's important. As I said, rare candies as well, trekking shoes is nice. You'd probably be wanting to run, like, maybe 3 or 4 Bound Sweet and Tsareena. like I said, maybe not be running Steenie. I like seeing it. Wonderful. But I definitely see a lot of the Vanillite and the end goal Vanilluxe being there to disrupt. So it's really handy to have. Either way, I think it's a really fun deck or new control deck idea that you could do or try out. I might try out with it and play around with it more, but I think that's a wonderful, you know, thing to try out. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. So yeah, that was just a brief overview, but let me know your thoughts as well. And thanks so much for watching. If you made it to this point, I appreciate it so much, and I love hearing from everyone, and yeah, it's great. So thanks again for watching, and if you like it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that for more content and stuff, and, you know, to see if you guys enjoy it. But yeah, I think other than that, I am just thankful you got to hear from me. But yeah, thanks again, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!